Jimbo Whitehead, and it's so good to be back. I always look forward to these live presentations, even though sometimes they're a little bit honky, but we try and hopefully get better. Today, we are going to talk about, this is one of my favorite topics because this is one of my favorite animals, you might say, or part of our world in the sense of all the animals that are around us. So what we're going to be doing today, this is called the anatomy of finding a lost pet. And this will have it where you will get some ideas, and there are a lot of things that can be done that really can speed up the process to make sure this gets done. And, you know, it's like having a lost child. We're not trying to make one better than the other or worse than the other, but anybody you love, however you might lose them, is not at all where you feel happy. So, you know, we're going to really get down to what happens to the pet when they're away, things that hopefully that can happen to help them along the way. And then in my homework, I'm going to tell you what I feel is the best solution for finding a pet. And I see this every day. So let's move on here. All right, well, you're going to find that Ginger is lost. Now, Ginger, you like to bring and pull names and people that you loved from your past. Ginger was my first dog, and I'm 74 years old. So we had Ginger when I was probably 4 or 5 years old. So, you know, your first pet, it's like your first date, but your first pet is always your first love. And you do everything to make sure they're okay. So what we're seeing here is Ginger is lost. And, you know, we all do everything to make sure it doesn't happen, but it does. So Ginger's lost. Ginger's lost in the big city, which is really even more scary. Or, I admit, there's some places, woods and wild animals that also could be and make it very difficult and scary for both you and your wonderful pet. Okay, first thing, they get hungry. Now, I know I pull these images from AI, and, you know, the point is that, yes, the dog is being fed. Thank God for somebody that said, hey, you know, I'm going to help this animal. But, you know, they probably wouldn't get where you're going to, hey, how much do you want? You want a big bowl or a little bowl? So, you know, I know that might be a little misleading, but hopefully somebody will take care of these animals. And there's so many organizations. If I wasn't working, and I've often used this as an example when somebody says, hey, I'm retiring. I'm not retiring. But when they say they're retiring, I said, what are you going to do? And they said, I'm not going to do anything. I said, oh, that's not good. That's their choice, of course. But, well, you know, I've worked so hard. Got it. I got it. But you could do, if you don't have to earn money, you can do some things you might have always wanted to do. And one of them, and I use it as an example, is animal rescue. You need a lot of people, and there's a lot of lost animals. So, anyway, back to Ginger. Also, an excuse, I know you can't find the same exact dog in the same exact position, yada, yada, yada. But I hope you get the, I guess you might call poetic license. Anyway, okay, ginger's thirsty. And are there good water sources around for these animals? I don't think it's a good idea for ginger to be drinking out of a stream or some static, stale water that's just been sitting on pavement. So, again, I don't want to say this is a training a process of where you have to do everything right. Just try to do something. Okay, when they're out there, they're being chased, and it's not that other animals are bad, but they sometimes are afraid and they don't know, or they've been brought up wrong. The one thing I find when people say, "Oh, I'm afraid of pit bulls," I'm saying, be honest with you, and I totally, 100% in my heart, realize or feel that there's nothing wrong with pit bulls in general at all. It's how they're brought up. And unfortunately, and you've seen it, remember the quarterback, his last name was Vic? He had a promising career, and unfortunately, didn't need the money. He got involved in animal fighting. Betting on this dog beating this dog. That is atrocious. And, I'm not a vengeance guy, but he kind of had it where, people said, I don't think I really want to watch you as a quarterback when you are so cruel to animals, especially when there's no reason to. So, anyway, here's poor Ginger trying to get away. And, well, it's like with anything, people gang up. So Ginger's being chased by two dogs. And it doesn't mean these dogs are mean or anything, but they, no one knows. They don't know who Ginger is. Ginger doesn't know who they are. Now, what I do when I take my Jamie, by the way, Jamie, as you know, is CEO of All Power Group. If I see an animal anywhere, I try to make friends with it. It could be just, they're out, they're allowed to wander. I don't like that technically, but some folks will say, hey, I want to see that dog. Some would say, no, don't go near the dog. That's your choice. Now, what some of the things that are done is, when they're looking for their animal, they contact the local shelters. And I know every call you make when you're looking for your animal, you're hoping is going to be the last call you have to make. So they call the shelters. They, a lot of times, will post up on telephone poles. My dog is lost. My dog's name is Ginger. Please call me. Now, this, and I'm going to give you the punchline, but the best solution that I've found is posting on social media. Now, I know there's a lot of interesting things on social media, but the fact is social media, and you know them all, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, they, and the local, which I find works real well, is called Nextdoor. And I'm always seeing in Nextdoor somebody saying and showing a picture of their lost animal. So the key here, in my opinion, is social media sites. Social media has become a powerful tool for reuniting lost pets with their owners. When a pet goes missing, owners quickly share posts with photos, descriptions, and the last known locations across the various platforms like, as I said, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We can go on and on and on. But these sites really, really do help. And I think the folks that function within running the social media feel that they're doing a good service, and they really are. So, forget about the politics, forget about ladies that are, and I've seen it too much lately, especially on Facebook, are kind of advertising for stuff that they shouldn't be advertising for. I'm a little surprised at that. I'm an older guy, but I'm not dumb, I don't think. And I kind of say, I don't think you're allowed to do this, so you should be allowed to do that. I mean, if I had a social media channel, I'm not saying it would be pearly white, but I really would want to make sure that no one is getting themselves in trouble. Okay, the good news is Ginger was found, and the Maxfields received a call, and again, it came from a social media listing, and Ginger is back. And Ginger's happy. Ginger looks good. And obviously, I know there's some folks that don't care much for animals, but they're family. They're in fact right up there on the list of the family members you love. So, it's nice to have Ginger back. And the takeaway today is how good social media is on getting the word out. So, I hope this was a little interesting, and maybe, somebody might say, I never thought of social media, or I don't do things on social media. I don't know how to do it. Well, I don't blame people for not being on social media, because there's a lot of, again, things that you might not think are exciting. But we always love something with redemption, where they'd say, I never did very much with social media, or I don't know how to do social media, but now I'm doing it, and I lost an animal, and I used that to the best of my ability. So that is exciting. Anyway, thank you. And again, you'll see some more from Jamie, CEO. We've got Miss Perfection as one of the employees of All Power Group. And lately, we have another applicant. His name is called Big Orange. He's from Sumatra. And we are trying to hire him. But there are some stumbling blocks, and I've been showing or saying those in him, or he's describing the issues that he's having that he needs some help with. So, by the way, if you're able to do anything to help Big Orange, I would appreciate it. He would appreciate it. I think he could be a good employee. So, anyway, thank you. Be well, stay cool, and thanks again. And it's really the best, and I hope I see you again. Thank you.